Welcome to Foundation, a podcast about home building from the ground up. Buying a house can feel very overwhelming, and building a house can be even more challenging. But we're here to help. Throughout this series, we'll be interviewing realtors, builders, developers, lenders, and anyone else involved in the home building process. After listening to this series, you should have the right tools and knowledge for the next steps needed to build the home that you've always dreamed of. Today we have with us Barb Christian. Barb is a realtor for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in Missoula, Montana. For many years, she's been selling home sites at the Ranch Club and has helped many families find their dream homes. She's well versed in the world of home buying and a great companion to have during the home building process. Barb, welcome to the podcast. We'll kick it off by asking, how long have you been involved in the real estate business, and how long have you been involved in the Ranch Club too?
Yes, thanks for having me here today. I have been a real estate agent for 5 years, and I also have been involved with the Ranch Club for 5 years also. However, my husband and I have done developments and been involved in real estate for over 25 years. So we have a lot of experience, other than just this one.
What made you want to get into real estate?
That's a really good question. It was when my boys were about to graduate from high school, and I was actually looking for something else to do. And I talked to a lady who'd been in it for years and years, and she just said that she thought my personality would fit helping other people. I really like that, and so it has been a great fit. I really do enjoy either first home buyers or older people or doing things like that. So it's just been a good fit. I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah, there's a great companionship that you have with someone during the home buying process.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's such a scary world, having someone that you can trust and rely on is very important.
Yes.
And going back to the Ranch Club, what do you love about the Ranch Club, and there's a lot of home sites there, and what do you love about it?
Probably most importantly is I just love the feel of it. And I think that's because every time I go out there, it's just quiet. You hear the birds chirping, the views, if it's at the golf course itself and people out there golfing or not. It's gorgeous with the stunning mountain views. I just love the ponds that you see, but it's more just the general feel. The people are nice. Whenever you see them, they're friendly and helpful. And I could go on and on, but it just has a good feel overall.
It really does. When you're heading out that way west of Missoula and you're on Mullen Road, you're like, am I in Missoula anymore?
Right.
And then you pull into the Ranch Club and it's like, oh, this is a whole community.
Yes.
And you're right. I was just walking around and I saw two women walking, and they just walked right up to me and wanted to have a conversation about what I was doing and where I'm from, and they were everyone there was just super nice. It was really cool to see everyone out. They were doing their gardens and
they're outdoorsy group.
Everyone
just fun to be around.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think the other thing, I might just add one other thing there too, is they do so many events out there that are small social events that I really enjoy. I haven't taken in a lot of those, but they have game night and family movie night, and they do a winter fest, and so it is such a community out there.
And you can feel that. You can feel that right when you pull in. It's cool. So a little bit more back to the home sites. Let's just say I've never purchased a home before, but I've never. Let's say I've purchased a home before. I'm a first-time home buyer, but I've never built from the ground up. What's the first thing that I should do when considering building at the Ranch Club?
Good question. I always consider whether you're buying a lot, a home site, or a new house would be to talk to your lender. First of all, go in and see what you can be qualified for, what the terms might be, what the interest rates look like, and just get all of that out of the way first. And usually as realtors, we like to have people come in with a pre-approval letter. So if you were going to buy a lot or you were going to buy a home site, when we did the offer, if you did find a property you wanted, then we would submit that at the same time. So that means you're a qualified buyer.
So proper vetting beforehand.
Yes, very much so.
And why is it important to have a realtor during the home building process? At what point should I have one on my team? from the very beginning when I first go to that lender?
Yes, I would. You don't have to, but for sure, at least right after the lender, I would hire somebody or talk with someone about the realtor in general, I should say, just because they have a lot of experience of taking you through that process. You can kind of get lost in it, especially if you are a first-time, home buyer or a first-time home site buyer. So I think right away is just best. And then we can help you with other, if you get into an inspection process, and we can give you recommendations on who you should hire or could hire, because we've worked with a lot of people and we've gone through, building homes, and I think we just offer a lot of expertise. A lot of times people say we are the source of the source.
Oh,
because
cool.
we know so many, different, other people we can help you with.
So you touched on interest rates earlier when talking to a lender. What does that mean for home builders? Are there advantages to buying existing homes over lots? When's that the case?
Specific to the interest rate part of that, there is a little bit of a distinction, because if you were to buy a house tomorrow, let's say you wanted to buy a house tomorrow, you could lock your interest rate in pretty much right after your loan is approved. So let's say within 20 days or so. If you buy a lot to build, then you would have to go in and get a construction loan.
Oh, okay.
And then that will run for however long it takes to build. Usually, it can be up to 12 months or so. And then you have to get the home loan after that. So that can be, if we're low right now at 3% something, maybe it'll stay that way in 12 months, but it might not. It could go up a little bit better, a little bit more too.
Okay.
So that's important to know, that there's that distinction.
So so there's a fluctuation of change between when you initially maybe want to buy a house or buy that home building site compared to the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there could be. Absolutely. Because if the interest rates change, you actually at the end have to change it to a home loan versus a construction loan.
That's really good to know. Awesome. There are some beautiful homes at the Ranch Club, and they all vary from sizes. There's some multi-million-dollar homes. There's some $450,000, $500,000 homes. Even less, even more. Can I design a home based off of an existing home there? How do you go about that?
Good question. Yes, you can. There's a couple different ways to do that. I think if you found a house that you really liked, just fell in love with it and wanted exactly that same one or really similar, or you could just knock on the door and talk to the owners and see if they have the home plans, or if maybe their architect owns them. You never know if it's the homeowner that owns the plans, the architect, or the builder. So you could kind of just chat with them about that, or I could, or another real estate agent could do that and kind of help you through that process. But I think what most people do is, if you after you have the lot secure or in the in-between period, there's a due diligence period. Like if you were to make an offer on a home site, we would give you whatever you negotiated, but usually it's about 30 days to find, can I find a builder? Can I build the house I want on that lot, et cetera. So you have all this time to research different things. And at that time, you might find a builder or an architect, and then just say, this is kind of what I'm looking at, and take them around, and they'll want to see some of the houses you like. I like this window and this driveway and this yard and all that sort of thing.
Cool.
So it's so you all just kind of work together with that. So I like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting driving around the Ranch Club, because there are a variety of homes. There's homes that are built of stone and reclaimed lumber.
Yes.
But then there's lots of glass, a lot of glass in some homes. It's just really cool seeing the variety of homes there, and there's just so much potential.
There is, and the other thing, and I don't know if you noticed that, but they also have townhomes, and those are very popular. In fact, when those tend to go on the market, they sell right away, just because I think they're a little less expensive. Obviously, there's less to maintain in that sort of home too, so that's another option out there.
Yeah, I did notice those. Those are when you first kind of pull into the area.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a cool area. They have very large garages.
Yes, they do.
They must have lots of cars that they can fit in there.
Or lots of toys.
Lots of toys, yeah. Everyone in
Both,
Montana has their toys, yeah. So as far as pricing goes, how do I know I'm getting a good deal on a home site?
That's probably a good reason to go with a real estate agent, because we have access to all of the data that would be out there, or if you want to just look at all the different home sites in town that are available, then we can do we called it a comparative market analysis for you, so what you're spending, and then we could say oh, this one's 0.5 of an acre, and that's what this is in this area, and this is what you're looking at, etc. And well, at the ranch club, this is what you're getting, and you have all these other amenities that go with it. So we actually work up one of those every time you're interested in making an offer.
So would let's say there's a home site in close to downtown Missoula.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that home site the same price as something that would be at the ranch club?
Varies so much.
Does it?
So much, yes. Generally, the bigger communities like Ranch Club or Canyon River, one of the differences is they have, or Brookside would be another one, they actually have HOAs, which is homeowner association fees. So sometimes that can be the difference. But it really, location, it's just like buying a house anywhere too, it just, location is going to matter, and what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, if you had a lot for 2 acres, but it, looked at the dump, and yeah, it's just so varies. Mm-hmm.
Is there negotiations when buying land?
Yes, absolutely.
There's flexibility?
Absolutely, there is. Yep, I think there's less than on a house just because land tends to be less expensive.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
So what about like if there's a nice flat home site compared to a home site that has a little bit of flatness but then kind of drops off? Does that still count as buildable land?
I probably am not able to answer that. However, that's where you'd work with your builder and your architect, and actually, some of the ones that have a little more personality, I'll say, they can build the neatest houses out of those.
Yeah,
I actually
really
prefer
neat.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, when you have like 3 stories in the back but only 1 story up front.
Absolutely.
Really
I think that's really nice.
Yeah, and you see quite a few of those over there.
There.
It is really hilly lands, but there are a lot of flat areas too. But
yes,
the views are worth it. So,
I agree.
Every time I'm out there, I'm just
me too.
stunned.
Yeah, me too. I love it out there.
So, what's your favorite success story of someone building a home at the Ranch Club?
Okay, there's many. It's just when people take all this time to plan it, it can be a long process, and a lot of times it's maybe even someone your age that's starting now and saying someday I want this and this and this in a house, and you're younger, and then you actually get to do that when you're 50 or however old that is. And so it's just fun to see all of those plans that people have been thinking about for years and years, and have having all these different ideas from different places that they visited, and then it comes to all comes together, and then they get to move in. And so that's really fun. And and then we've had some new builders that are a little bit younger.
Oh, cool.
And all that. I think maybe my favorite story, just because it's happening kind of right now, is I had a gentleman last summer come out, just the nice. Never met him actually. This has all been through telephone, but he came out and he wanted to buy a lot at the Ranch Club. It's from Arizona. We corresponded back and forth for months, and in November I sent him I kept sending him everything Ranch Club, so new lots and new houses, and he found just the perfect house that he wanted to buy. So anyway, long story short, he's moving here next week.
Oh, no way.
Yep, bought it. And so that's kind of my real happy one right now, just because I'm so anxious to meet him, right? I've had this relationship with him for 9 months.
Was he familiar with the Ranch Club before?
Good question. He actually, the reason why is his lady friend, he calls her, that her son lives here, and so the son had taken him to golf at the Ranch Club because he's a member. Because you don't have to live there to be a member,
right? So
that's how he got there, and he just fell in love with it immediately.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
great. In that same realm, do you notice a difference between folks that are older, I would say 55 plus, and folks that are 35 to 55? Are the styles of their homes that they're building a little bit different?
Oh boy, I think that varies as much as the people do too. Yeah. I really do. Obviously, I think the younger generation is going more towards the smart homes. They want to walk in and have their lights come on and, all of that sort of thing. Versus the other people are just more traditional, maybe more wood. And people that are a little bit older, they tend to appreciate the custom cabinets and some of the things that just take a little more time, fireplaces, with the rock and stone versus maybe some of the newer materials. But there's a little bit in, it just depends. Everyone has their own ideas of what they want.
I know if I was building my house that I would want to future-proof it, like you said. Like when I walk in, I want it to ask me how my day was.
Exactly. I know. I love Siri in the morning when it says good morning. And I'm like, I needed that.
Yeah, my wife doesn't say it to me anymore, so I need my phone to say it to me.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, I don't get it either.
So let's say I've figured out that I want to live at the Ranch Club, and I've found a lot. I was driving around there, and I found a lot that I want to build on. Mm-hmm. What are the next steps working with you? Let's say you're my realtor. What do I do next when I'm like, I want lot number 287?
Okay. So then we would go back and we would talk about it a little more and about what price you'd like to offer. I'd make sure, of course, you being the great buyer that you are, you've already seen your lender, so you're approved for that amount of money. And then I would do just a quick analysis for you to see if that is what you think you want to offer is reasonable and something that would be accepted, or something that we could at least negotiate with the owner for. And then we would make an offer. And then if it's accepted, great, we just move right along. If not, we do a little negotiation back and forth. And then the buy-sell eventually gets, or counter, buy-sell and counter could be accepted, agreed upon, executed. And then next, we would have built in that 30 days that I talked about earlier, where you will have time to make sure that it is the lot you want, if it's too, has too many hills or too flat. And then you would have time to go and talk to a builder and an architect. How long is this going to take, and will this all work for me? So that's what we would do. And then you have time to figure that out. And if all of those things fit into place, and then we would close, usually it's about 45 days later.
Okay.
And then after that, you can start working and getting your architectural plans together.
Are there financial resources for those who build a home instead of buying a home? Is there, more like do banks or lenders offer something to someone that wants to build a home instead of buy an actual pre-built house?
Though it actually would be the same.
It would?
Yep, it would. You would just go to a real estate lender, and they would be happy to help you with either.
Oh, great.
Some might specialize a little bit more in one or the other, but usually either are really happy to help you.
Cool. Mm-hmm. What questions haven't I asked that you wish a first-time home builder would ask?
That is really a good question. I think one of the things that people don't realize, and I have built my own house 29 years ago, but one thing that we did not realize at the time, and I think people still don't, is it can take a long time. If you're using, especially if you're taking time to design your home, and then you go to an architect, and then by the time you and he finalize all of that, then and in the meantime there you're working with trying to find a builder who will build it, and then they have to get building permits, and then you start construction, and you can have rainy days like today, and that can delay you, or a lot of the builders work with subs, and so you're trying to coordinate all that. So I think it's just important that people know it's truly, I really enjoyed every minute of building our house. So it's a great experience, but it can take a lot longer than people want, and that's not always the case. I'm just kind of saying that I like people to know that's kind of it can be that long, just so their mindset can be that, and hopefully it'll get done a lot sooner. But I'd rather have people plan on, I guess, the worst.
When you built your house, did it finish before or after you expected it to?
Ours was after.
It was?
Ours was after, yes. Probably 2 months, actually. And that wasn't, some of it might have been because of us and a few change orders here and there, because that is something that also I would say is people need to realize that when they make change orders, if they don't do it at the right time, it can delay everything, because you might have to have then the sheetrock people come back, and there's a lot of variables in there that can make it different.
So it's good to plan for it to take a little bit longer, but to have the house of your dreams built,
it's totally worth it. Exactly. I've lived there, like in mine, for 29 years, and I would, absolutely, that extra 2 months or 6 weeks or whatever it was water under the bridge. Definitely.
And one last question before we go.
And can I follow
Sure,
back up on that?
absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. So the other thing I was going to say, and one thing that we're doing at the Ranch Club, and I think some other places in town are too, is we've been trying to take that length out of it, but give people ability to customize their own home. So what we've done, it's the group that I work for is the Ranch Club Development. And what we have done is we have 4 house plans that we have approved. We've worked with an architect, and so those are just ready to go. We've built 1, 2 are in process under construction right now. So we have the 3 house plans, really available to see right now.
Oh, cool.
And then and then if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to buy the 3rd one, you could go in right now, you could make changes, you could have, big windows or little windows and all of the customizations you wanted, paint colors and countertops and do all those things. So we've tried to take out some of that length of it because our plans are approved, and and all we have to do is submit, like if you wanted, just say one lot, whatever lot, 178 or whatever, if you wanted to build on that, then we just would have to just take that into the county, get it approved for lot 178. You can start, you work with your builder, and so that's going to be probably a 4-month.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like 4 to 6 months.
Yes, and yeah, it is. It's going to be, and if you have the same builder out there like we do right now, then he can coordinate with the other houses that are happening, and so it works a lot faster. And so we're thinking that's going to be a good thing, because I know if I were to do it again, that's what I would probably prefer right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a streamline.
Yes, but able to pick your own appliances and all of that sort of thing too. So you get a little bit of both in that. So I like that alternative as well.
Yeah, that's a great option to have. All right, is there anything else that you wanted to let us know about the Ranch Club? And
well, just in general, I just love being there. I know a lot of people like myself. I don't actually live there, but I spend a lot of time, and I know people that do. But people like me that don't golf, we still enjoy being out there. We walk, and I know many, many, many families that just, enjoy the environment. And so I always want people to know that you can live there and enjoy it, and not have to be a golfer as well.
Yeah.
And I think that you would really enjoy it. And it's just a peaceful place to be, and I just hope that people will at least give it a look.
Yeah, I know if I built a house out there, I would have a patio where I can have a glass of wine or a drink every single night.
Absolutely.
Watch the sunset, and
I agree.
It's just such beautiful vistas out there. I love it out there.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it with Barb today. Barb Christian, how can people contact you?
Call me, please, at 406-240-6465, or you can call our office in town, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and you can just search for that website, and it'll come up, and my name will be there.
All right, guys. That's all. That's going to call it there with Barb Christian today. Have a great day.